Archaeologists have discovered a vast tunnel under an ancient Egyptian temple that may lead to Cleopatra's lost tomb.
When I study carefully the last days of Cleopatra, I realized it was the beginning of a religious act that might end up with her being buried in a temple, and her lost tomb could be found there.
Have you heard this mind-blowing news? Archaeologists just uncovered Cleopatra's long-lost tomb in Egypt, and the treasures found inside could rewrite the history books on the pyramids. What secrets were buried with the last pharaoh over 2,000 years ago? Explorers have discovered a jaw-dropping one. 300-meter tunnel potentially leading straight to Cleopatra's final resting place, and artifacts that prove an unknown civilization helped build the pyramids using futuristic technology. Get ready to have your world rocked by these unbelievable revelations about Egypt's most iconic monuments. Let's begin!
We have uncovered so many important structures that prove this temple functioned as a temple during the time of Queen Cleopatra and the Greek pharaohs.
Section 1. Cleopatra's historical significance. Joe Rogan once remarked on his podcast how the life and legacy of Cleopatra still fascinates people today, not only because of her beauty, but also due to her political acumen and the dramatic events that marked her reign. Cleopatra VII, the last active ruler of the Ptolemaic Kingdom of Egypt, is one of history's most intriguing figures. Born in 69 BC, she ascended to the throne at the age of 18 and co-ruled initially with her brother, Ptolemy the Fertide, whom she eventually overthrew. But what if I told you that the recent discovery of Cleopatra's tomb in Egypt could reveal shocking truths about the pyramids? Could the artifacts buried with her hold secrets that challenge everything we know about ancient Egyptian history? Joe Rogan has revealed these stunning secrets on his podcast, making us question everything we thought we knew. As the last pharaoh of Egypt, Cleopatra strived to protect her kingdom from the expanding Roman Empire, and her intelligence and charisma made her a formidable leader. She was fluent in multiple languages, including Egyptian, a rarity among the Ptolemaic rulers who typically spoke Greek. This linguistic ability allowed her to connect with her subjects on a deeper level, further solidifying her influence and control over Egypt. One of Cleopatra's most notable alliances was with Julius Caesar. After a civil war with her brother, Cleopatra sought Caesar's support to reclaim her throne. In 48 BC, she famously smuggled herself into Caesar's presence wrapped in a carpet. This bold move not only secured his military assistance, but also began a significant political and romantic alliance. Caesar helped Cleopatra regain the throne, and their union produced a son, Ptolemy XV Philopator Caesar, commonly known as Caesarion. Their relationship was not just a personal liaison, but a powerful political alliance that reinforced Cleopatra's rule in Egypt. By allying with Caesar, Cleopatra ensured the stability and safety of her kingdom during a tumultuous period. However, this alliance also tethered her fate to the Roman political sphere, a connection that would have profound implications for her and Egypt's future. Now, could the discovery of her tomb reveal hidden truths about her alliance with Caesar and its connection to the pyramids? The assassination of Julius Caesar in 44 BC was a turning point. Cleopatra returned to Egypt, where she continued to consolidate her power. She began aligning herself with Mark Antony, one of Caesar's closest allies and a member of the Second Triumvirate that ruled Rome. Their alliance was both a personal and political strategy to counter the rising power of Octavian, Caesar's adopted heir. Antony and Cleopatra's relationship quickly evolved into one of history's most famous romances, a tale filled with grandeur and tragedy. Cleopatra and Antony's partnership was marked by their combined efforts to defend their territories and ambitions against Octavian's forces. Together, they had 3 children, and Cleopatra sought to establish a legacy that would secure her family's position in the annals of history. However, their combined forces were eventually defeated at the Battle of Actium in 31 BC, a decisive confrontation that marked the beginning of the end for both Antony and Cleopatra. Following their defeat, Antony and Cleopatra retreated to Alexandria. In a bid to avoid capture and humiliation by Octavian, Antony committed suicide. Cleopatra, realizing that her end was near, chose to end her life as well. According to popular legend, she allowed an asp, a venomous snake, to bite her. Her death marked the end of the Ptolemaic rule and the beginning of Roman dominion over Egypt. But why does Cleopatra's story captivate us so much? Could it be the dramatic elements of her life, filled with romance, war, and political intrigue, that make her story timeless? Joe Rogan would likely argue that it's a combination of her profound political impact and the personal narrative of a powerful woman navigating a male-dominated world that continues to resonate with us today. History is written by the victors, and Cleopatra's story is a prime example. Much of what we know about her comes from Roman sources, which were biased against her. However, modern scholarship is increasingly recognizing her as a shrewd and capable ruler who adeptly navigated the treacherous political waters of her time. Section 2. Cleopatra's Final Days. Cleopatra's last moments are some of the most dramatic and tragic in ancient history, richly documented by writers like Plutarch. These accounts, filled with intrigue, betrayal, and fatal resolve, paint a vivid picture of the end of an era and the fall of a remarkable queen. The recent discovery of her tomb could reveal shocking connections between Cleopatra and the pyramids, as Joe Rogan suggests, potentially rewriting our understanding of ancient history. Plutarch, a Greek biographer, provides one of the most detailed narratives of Cleopatra's final days in his work, Life of Antony. As the power struggle between Mark Antony and Octavian, or the future Emperor Augustus, reached its climax, the fate of Cleopatra and her kingdom hung in the balance. The Battle of Actium, fought in 31 BC, was a decisive confrontation that saw the forces of Antony and Cleopatra decisively defeated by Octavian's fleet. This naval battle marked the beginning of the end for both Antony and Cleopatra. Following their defeat, Antony and Cleopatra retreated to Alexandria. The city's defenses crumbled under Octavian's advancing army. In a desperate bid to salvage his honor and avoid capture, Antony decided to take his own life. According to Plutarch, Antony fell on his sword after receiving false news that Cleopatra had already committed suicide. Mortally wounded but not immediately dead, Antony was taken to Cleopatra's monument where he died in her arms. This scene is one of the many dramatic moments that have cemented their story in the annals of history. Cleopatra's response to Antony's death was a mix of grief and determination. Realizing that her own capture was imminent, she began to make preparations for her death. Plutarch describes how Cleopatra, ever the strategist, attempted to negotiate with Octavian, hoping to secure a future for her children. However, Octavian, wary of Cleopatra's influence and potential for future rebellion, intended to parade her as a trophy in his triumph back in Rome. This realization led Cleopatra to decide on a more dignified exit. The manner of Cleopatra's death has been the subject of much speculation and romanticism. Plutarch's account, along with other sources, suggests that Cleopatra chose to die by the bite of an asp, a venomous snake. This method of suicide, while dramatic, was also symbolic. The asp, associated with the Egyptian cobra, was a royal symbol and represented divine authority and protection. Cleopatra's choice of death by snakebite could be seen as a final assertion of her royal status and defiance against Roman conquest. But what exactly happened in those final moments? Cleopatra reportedly locked herself in her mausoleum with two of her most loyal servants, Iris and Charmian. When Octavian's forces finally breached the mausoleum, they found Cleopatra already dead, dressed in her royal robes, with the asp's bite marks on her arm. Her loyal servants were found dying at her feet, having chosen to follow their queen in death. Now the question is, what secrets about her final moments and the pyramids might her tomb uncover? Section 3. The Mystery of Cleopatra's Tomb. Recent discoveries regarding Cleopatra's tomb have sent shockwaves through the fields of archaeology and history, revolutionizing our understanding of ancient Egypt. Imagine the excitement when a new tunnel, described as a geometric miracle, was found at the Temple of Taposiris Magna. This find could potentially lead us to Cleopatra's final resting place, a mystery that has eluded scholars and explorers for centuries. Ancient sources like Plutarch and Suetonius suggest that Cleopatra was buried alongside her lover, Mark Antony, in a mausoleum she had built in Alexandria. However, no concrete evidence has ever confirmed the exact location. Theories abound. Some believe that the tomb lies beneath modern Alexandria, submerged under the Mediterranean Sea due to centuries of coastal erosion and seismic activity. Others speculate that the tomb might be hidden within the expansive network of catacombs and tunnels that crisscross the region. One of the most compelling theories involves the Temple of Taposiris Magna. Dr. Kathleen Martinez, an archaeologist from the Dominican Republic, has spent over 15 years excavating this site. She believes that Cleopatra chose this location for her tomb due to its strong association with the goddess Isis, whom Cleopatra identified with throughout her life. The temple's dedication to both Isis and Osiris, the god of the afterlife, adds a layer of religious and cultural significance to this theory. But why is finding Cleopatra's tomb so significant? In the context of Egyptian archaeology, such a discovery would be monumental. It would provide unprecedented insights into the burial practices of the late Ptolemaic period and the relationship between Egyptian and Roman cultures. Moreover, the artifacts and remains found within the tomb could offer new information about Cleopatra's reign, her lineage, and the socio-political landscape of her time. Joe Rogan once speculated on his podcast about the broader implications of discovering Cleopatra's tomb. He pondered how such a find could reshape our understanding of ancient history and challenge long-held perceptions about Cleopatra herself. Indeed, Cleopatra has often been portrayed through the lens of Roman propaganda, which depicted her as a seductive manipulator. A closer examination of her tomb and the items buried with her could help historians paint a more nuanced picture of her as a ruler and a person. The quest to locate Cleopatra's tomb has been fraught with challenges. Alexandria's ancient landscape has changed dramatically over the millennia. Earthquakes, tsunamis, and rising sea levels have submerged large parts of the ancient city. Modern urban development further complicates archaeological efforts. Despite these obstacles, the search continues with renewed vigor, driven by the tantalizing clues unearthed at Taposiris Magna. In recent years, Dr. Martinez's team has uncovered numerous artifacts that support the theory that Cleopatra might be buried there. These include coins bearing her likeness, statues that resemble her, and inscriptions dedicated to Isis and Osiris. Most notably, the discovery of the 305-meter-long tunnel beneath the temple has been hailed as a groundbreaking development. This tunnel, described by some as an engineering marvel, mirrors the design of ancient aqueducts like the Tunnel of Eupalinos in Greece. Its construction and orientation suggest that it could lead to a significant burial site, potentially even Cleopatra's tomb. The importance of this discovery cannot be overstated. In the world of archaeology, finding Cleopatra's tomb would be akin to unearthing the burial site of Alexander the Great or the lost city of Atlantis. It would provide a treasure trove of historical data and elevate our understanding of the ancient world to new heights. However, skepticism remains. Some scholars argue that the evidence found at Taposiris Magna, while compelling, is not definitive. They caution against drawing conclusions until more concrete proof is uncovered. The search is a delicate balance between hope and scientific rigor, with each new find bringing us closer yet reminding us of the challenges that lie ahead. The potential discovery of Cleopatra's tomb also raises ethical considerations. Excavating such a site involves not only scientific curiosity, but also a profound respect for the dead. The cultural and historical significance of Cleopatra's burial place demands that any exploration be conducted with the utmost care and sensitivity. It is essential to balance the desire for knowledge with respect for ancient traditions and beliefs. Imagine the moment when, after centuries of searching, the final resting place of Cleopatra is revealed. Such a discovery would not only be a triumph for archaeology, but also a profound moment of connection with our past. It would bridge the gap between the ancient and modern worlds, offering a glimpse into the life and legacy of one of history's most enigmatic figures. The search continues, driven by the hope that one day we will uncover the final chapter in the story of Cleopatra, the last pharaoh of Egypt. Section 4. Early Searches and Discoveries. The quest to uncover Cleopatra's tomb has fascinated explorers, archaeologists, and historians for centuries. Early efforts to locate her final resting place date back to the 19th and early 20th centuries, a time when archaeology was in its infancy and driven by both scientific curiosity and the allure of discovering hidden treasures. In the late 1800s, European explorers, inspired by the romantic allure of ancient Egypt, embarked on expeditions to unearth the secrets of the pharaohs. The discovery of the Rosetta Stone in 1799 had already ignited a wave of Egyptomania, and the prospect of finding Cleopatra's tomb became a tantalizing goal. French and British archaeologists led many of these early expeditions, often sponsored by wealthy patrons and driven by national pride. One of the earliest significant searches was conducted by Italian Egyptologist Giuseppe Botti, who, in the late 19th century, focused his efforts on Alexandria, Cleopatra's capital. Botti's work laid the groundwork for understanding the city's ancient topography, though he did not find the tomb. His meticulous mapping of ancient ruins and documentation of artifacts provided invaluable data for future researchers. The early 20th century saw a resurgence of interest, spurred by the broader archaeological advances of the time. In 1912, British archaeologist E. A. Wallace Budge conducted extensive explorations in Alexandria. Although Budge's work yielded no definitive evidence of Cleopatra's tomb, his findings included important artifacts and inscriptions that shed light on the Ptolemaic period and the historical context of Cleopatra's reign. Budge's efforts highlighted the immense challenge of locating a specific tomb in a city that had been continuously inhabited and rebuilt over millennia. But why has Cleopatra's tomb remained so elusive? One reason is the changing landscape of Alexandria itself. The city, founded by Alexander the Great in 331 BC, has undergone significant transformations over the centuries. Earthquakes, tsunamis, and gradual subsidence have altered the coastline, submerging large portions of the ancient city under the Mediterranean Sea. These geological changes have made traditional archaeological methods less effective, necessitating innovative approaches. This brings us to the role of underwater archaeology, a field that has revolutionized the search for Cleopatra's tomb. In the mid-20th century, French underwater archaeologist Franck Gaudiot pioneered techniques that allowed researchers to explore submerged sites with unprecedented precision. Gaudiot's work in the waters off Alexandria has been particularly influential. Gaudiot's expeditions in the 1990s and early 2000s unveiled a treasure trove of artifacts from the submerged parts of Alexandria, including the ancient city's royal quarters. His team discovered statues, inscriptions, and architectural elements that once adorned the palaces and temples of the Ptolemaic rulers. Among the most significant finds were the remains of Cleopatra's palace and the Timonium, a sanctuary built by Mark Antony. These discoveries provided critical clues about the layout and extent of ancient Alexandria, bringing researchers closer to pinpointing the location of Cleopatra's tomb. One of the most remarkable aspects of Gaudiot's work is the use of advanced technology. Employing sophisticated sonar mapping, sub-bottom profiling, and remote-operated vehicles, his team was able to create detailed maps of the underwater ruins. These technologies have been essential in identifying and excavating sites that would otherwise be inaccessible. The findings from these underwater excavations have profound implications for ongoing research. They confirm that significant portions of ancient Alexandria lie beneath the sea, validating the theory that Cleopatra's tomb could also be submerged. Moreover, the artifacts recovered from these sites offer a glimpse into the opulence and grandeur of Cleopatra's reign, providing context for what might be found within her tomb. Section 5. Kathleen Martinez's excavations. Dr. Kathleen Martinez is a name synonymous with the modern quest to uncover Cleopatra's tomb. A Dominican lawyer turned archaeologist, Martinez's fascination with Cleopatra and her determination to find the queen's final resting place has driven her to make remarkable strides in Egyptian archaeology. Since 2004, Dr. Martinez has dedicated her career to exploring the Temple of Taposiris Magna, a site she firmly believes holds the key to one of history's greatest mysteries, Martinez's journey began with a profound interest in Cleopatra, not just as a historical figure, but as a powerful woman who navigated a male-dominated world with intelligence and political savvy. Intrigued by the scant historical records and the dramatic narratives of Cleopatra's life and death, Martinez hypothesized that the queen's tomb might be located at Taposiris Magna, a temple complex on the northern coast of Egypt, about 45 kilometers west of Alexandria. The Temple of Taposiris Magna, built during the reign of Ptolemy II, 283–246 BC, is a site of profound historical and architectural significance. Located on the northern coast of Egypt, this temple complex holds a strategic position and a rich connection to the religious practices of ancient Egypt. Its name, meaning Great Tomb of Osiris, hints at its sacred purpose and deep association with Osiris, the god of the afterlife, and his wife, the goddess Isis. Cleopatra VII, who often identified herself with Isis, likely chose this site for its strong religious symbolism, aligning her final resting place with the gods she revered. This theory set Martinez apart from other archaeologists who traditionally focused on Alexandria and its submerged ruins. The architectural significance of Taposiris Magna lies in its impressive construction and the blend of Egyptian and Greek influences, characteristic of the Ptolemaic period. The temple's layout is designed to evoke the grandeur of ancient Egyptian religious architecture, with its massive stone blocks, towering columns, and intricately carved reliefs. These elements reflect the Ptolemaic rulers' efforts to legitimize their reign by linking themselves to the ancient traditions of Egypt. Since commencing her work at Taposiris Magna in 2004, Dr. Martinez and her team have made significant discoveries that bolster her hypothesis. The temple complex itself, built during the reign of Ptolemy II, from 283 to 246 BC, features architectural elements and artifacts that suggest it was a site of great importance during Cleopatra's time. The excavation process has been painstaking and meticulous, involving the removal of tons of sand and debris, often in challenging conditions. One of the most compelling discoveries at Taposiris Magna has been a series of coins bearing the likeness of Cleopatra and her ancestors. These coins not only confirm the site's occupation during Cleopatra's reign, but also suggest a direct connection to the queen. Coins are invaluable to archaeologists because they provide precise dating for the layers in which they are found and often bear inscriptions that can offer insights into historical events and figures. In addition to coins, Martinez's team has unearthed statues that resemble Cleopatra, further supporting the theory that the site was significant during her reign. Among these statues is a headless statue that some believe represents Cleopatra herself. This statue, along with other depictions of the Ptolemaic rulers, provides a visual narrative of the period and helps contextualize the artifacts found in the temple. One of the most intriguing finds has been a collection of architectural elements that hint at the grandeur of the site. These include limestone blocks, intricately carved reliefs, and the remains of columns and walls that suggest the temple was once a significant religious and cultural center. The discovery of these elements has allowed Martinez to reconstruct parts of the temple's layout and understand its role in Ptolemaic society. The layout of the temple complex at Taposiris Magna is both intricate and revealing. The main temple structure includes a large central hall, surrounded by smaller chambers and courtyards. These spaces were likely used for various religious rituals and ceremonies. The temple is aligned with the cardinal points, a common feature in Egyptian sacred architecture, emphasizing its role as a conduit between the earthly and divine realms. The tunnel's construction is an engineering marvel, reminiscent of the ancient Greek tunnel of Eupalinos, an aqueduct built on the island of Samos in the 6th century BC. Like the tunnel of Eupalinos, the tunnel at Taposiris Magna demonstrates advanced engineering skills and a deep understanding of geometry and construction techniques. The precise alignment and depth of the tunnel suggest that it was built with a specific purpose in mind, possibly for ritualistic or burial purposes. A groundbreaking discovery in recent years was the uncovering of a series of deep shafts within the temple complex. These shafts, which were initially filled with sand and rubble, have yielded a wealth of artifacts and human remains. Among the most notable finds are mummies that date back to the Ptolemaic period, some of which were adorned with gilded masks and jewelry. These mummies provide crucial clues about the burial practices of the time and suggest that the temple may have been used as a burial site for high-ranking individuals. But perhaps the most sensational discovery at Taposiris Magna has been the 305-meter-long tunnel, described as a geometric miracle by some archaeologists. This tunnel, which lies beneath the temple, is believed to have been used for ritualistic purposes and could potentially lead to an undiscovered burial chamber. The tunnel's sophisticated engineering and alignment with the temple's main axis suggest it was an integral part of the complex's design. The significance of these discoveries cannot be overstated. The presence of such an elaborate and well-constructed tunnel at Taposiris Magna reinforces the idea that the temple was a site of great importance, possibly chosen by Cleopatra herself for her final resting place. The artifacts found within the tunnel, combined with the temple's architectural features, provide strong evidence that it was used for significant religious and burial practices. Joe Rogan once speculated on his podcast about the mysteries of ancient civilizations and how discoveries like this tunnel can reshape our understanding of history. The tunnel at Taposiris Magna is a perfect example of how modern archaeology can uncover hidden aspects of the past, revealing the ingenuity and sophistication of ancient builders. As archaeologists continue to explore the tunnel, they hope to find more clues that could lead to Cleopatra's tomb. The tunnel's alignment and depth suggest that it may connect to other parts of the temple complex, potentially revealing new chambers or burial sites. This ongoing exploration is a testament to the dedication and perseverance of researchers like Dr. Martinez, who are committed to uncovering the secrets of the ancient world. Her work at Taposiris Magna has not only advanced our understanding of Cleopatra's reign, but has also highlighted the potential of interdisciplinary approaches in archaeology. By combining traditional excavation techniques with modern technology such as ground-penetrating radar and 3D mapping, Martinez has been able to uncover layers of history that were previously inaccessible. These methods have allowed her team to explore the temple complex in unprecedented detail, revealing its hidden depths and secrets. Her work not only honors the legacy of Cleopatra, but also inspires a new generation of archaeologists to continue exploring the rich and complex history of Egypt. Section 6. Recent developments and technological advances. Looking ahead, Dr. Martinez's team has ambitious plans for future excavations. One of the primary goals is to continue exploring the 305-meter-long tunnel beneath the temple. This tunnel, already hailed as a geometric marvel, holds the potential to reveal more about the temple's purpose and its connection to Cleopatra. The team plans to use advanced technology, including ground-penetrating radar and 3D mapping, to navigate and excavate the tunnel more effectively. These technological advances are not only crucial for the ongoing excavations at Taposiris Magna, but also represent a broader trend in modern archaeology. Ground-penetrating radar, or GPR, allows archaeologists to detect and map subsurface structures without intrusive digging. This technology has been instrumental in identifying hidden chambers and tunnels, providing a non-invasive means to explore and document archaeological sites. 3D mapping is another powerful tool that has revolutionized archaeological research. By creating detailed three-dimensional models of excavation sites, researchers can analyze and interpret data more accurately. These models help visualize the spatial relationships between different elements of a site, offering new perspectives and insights that traditional methods might miss. In the case of Taposiris Magna, 3D mapping has been used to reconstruct the temple complex and understand its layout and construction in greater detail. DNA analysis also plays a critical role in modern archaeology. By extracting and analyzing DNA from human remains and other organic materials, researchers can gain valuable information about the people who lived and died at a site. This technique has been used to study mummies and other remains found at Taposiris Magna, providing insights into their origins, health, and genetic relationships. DNA analysis can help confirm the identities of individuals and their connections to historical figures like Cleopatra. One notable case study highlighting the impact of these technologies is the discovery of King Richard III's remains in Leicester, England. Ground-penetrating radar and 3D mapping were used to locate and excavate the burial site, while DNA analysis confirmed the identity of the remains. This combination of techniques allowed researchers to reconstruct the historical narrative and gain new insights into Richard III's life and death. The search for Cleopatra's tomb can also be compared to other significant archaeological discoveries, such as the tomb of Tutankhamun. Discovered in 1922 by Howard Carter, Tutankhamun's tomb remains one of the most famous archaeological finds in history. The tomb's pristine condition and the wealth of artifacts it contained provided an unparalleled glimpse into the life and death of an ancient Egyptian pharaoh. The meticulous excavation and documentation of the tomb set new standards for archaeological practice, emphasizing the importance of careful preservation and analysis. Insights gained from the discovery of Tutankhamun's tomb have had a lasting impact on archaeology. For example, one important lesson was the need for patience and perseverance. Carter's excavation took several years of painstaking work, often with little immediate reward. This long-term commitment ultimately paid off with one of the most significant discoveries in archaeological history. The search for Cleopatra's tomb requires a similar level of dedication and resilience as researchers continue to explore potential sites and analyze new findings. Another significant discovery is the terracotta army in China, unearthed in 1974. This vast collection of life-sized clay soldiers, buried with the first emperor of China, Qin Shi Huang, offers a glimpse into the military might and artistic achievements of ancient China. The excavation and study of the terracotta army have benefited greatly from modern technologies. 3D mapping has been used to document the layout of the site and the positioning of the figures, while advanced imaging techniques have revealed details about the construction and decoration of the soldiers that are invisible to the naked eye.